Like notes of the hourglass, these are the songs of our lives.
Welcome to the latest episode of Songs of Our Lives. I'm Brad Rose. I am a musician, a composer, a writer, the founder of Foxy, Digitalis, and somebody who thinks about sound and music far more than is healthy. Each week, I invite on a guest to talk about their favorite songs, the songs that have made them, the songs that have been with them along the way, something like that. And we generally just end up having a really good time. This week, I am really excited to have Lee Buford from The Body. So this is kind of part two of this two-parter with Disfig and The Body to celebrate their incredible new album that is out on this Friday, Orchards of a Futile Heaven. This was a fun episode to do. We had a ton of technical difficulties, scheduling difficult. It was a lot to get done, but it was so worth it in the end. One of the things that I just took away from this is how much Lee just loves music, like all music, and just is into like the things he's into. He's like really into, and it was so much fun. And I think getting to like talking to him and then talking to Felicia last week, it kind of puts the record like in not in another context, but it just adds another layer to it. And I think hearing them talk about kind of, their journey and all of that makes it or enhances the listening experience. Let's say that, at least for me. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. That wouldn't be the first time. So anyway, yes, it is out on Friday via Thrill Jockey. Lee and I recorded this late last year on Zoom. Like I said, we had all sorts of issues, but we got there in the end, and that's what's important. Persevered. So anyway, hope you all enjoy it. My guest today is a musician, a drummer, a t-shirt bootlegger, half of The Body, 1/3 of Disfig in The Body. It is Lee Buford. How's it going, Lee?
Doing good. How you doing?
Doing all right. It is a unseasonably or maybe now seasonably warm day here. So, probably the new normal in some ways.
Oh, yeah.
So, obviously when this airs, it'll be a week or so. I think it's the week. I think I have it planned for the week of the release of Orchards of a Futile Heaven, which is a collaboration that you all, The Body, did with Disfig, Felicia Chen. The place obviously to start. It's like, how'd you first meet Felicia? How were you first aware of her stuff? And, yeah.
We didn't technically meet in person for a long time because, she's over in Germany and I don't fly. But my friend Zach, who does MSC with his brother, and he does a project called Manslaughter 777 with me. He was like, "Oh, you have to check out Disfig. You're gonna love it," and I did love it. And then she mentioned us in like an interview or something one time. And I was like, "Oh, that's awesome." So
yeah,
because a lot of times, unless it's like a metal in the metal world, I don't assume that people know about us or anything. And even then I'm, doubtful that people know.
I know the feeling.
So I was like, So I was like, "Oh, that's awesome." So I reached out to her and I was like, "Hey, if you ever want to do anything," and that kind of like set it in motion. And yeah, from there it's been slow, but it's tough because like we record in Rhode Island and we're out in Portland. I don't fly, so it's like we got to drive out there and like plan for that. And then Felicia's also like she does a lot like on her own.
Right.
Like, I mean, now she's like touring in like Asia and stuff.
Right.
So yeah, it took a while for us to like, and it didn't take us that long. Like when we're actually like working on it. But it did take a long time to like for us to get out there, send stuff to her, and but I'm really glad the way it turned out. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things like her and I talked about, I was saying that, I mean, I feel like there's certain sounds or whatever, like I think of when I think of the body, and there's stuff I think of when I think of Disfig. And like y'all did this like really amazing job of those elements are there, but it sounds like something else. And so I'm just curious, like, did you have any sort of specific approach, or was it just like, here's some stuff, let's see what happens?
I mean, kind of, but it's also like I knew that she would vocally would like,
yeah,
I think it's definitely a strong suit of like, so I was like, oh, I mean, I didn't really talk about it with her, but between like me and Chip and Seth who recorded our end, there was definitely like, okay, let's try to cater to that aspect of it. So that like definitely came into play, and it was more just like just seeing what she would send us, and then like we kind of kept it pretty loose for the stuff we sent her, which I feel like is the best way to like do collab stuff when you're not like in the same room,
right?
Just because I feel like it lets people like do what they're good at instead of like
right
kind of forcing them to like do something that maybe they don't want to do. So yeah, luckily it turned out like there was never like there wasn't any like friction with any like musical stuff or anything. So it ended up being pretty easy, like that aspect of it.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I was saying to her, I was like, have you always dreamt of being like one of the most badass like front women in a metal band? Because she pulls it off.
I know. We're gonna try to do some touring together, and I'm excited to see like, because I've never really been in a band with like a front person like that.
Right.
So I was like, oh, this will be fun to do live.
Yeah, and you guys have met since, right? Like,
yeah, definitely. She came out here and played a show in Portland, and she like played a show one night and then DJ'd another night. So she was in town for a couple of days. So we got to hang out, and then Chip has hung out with her in Germany. She goes over there,
right?
So yeah, there's been like some interaction since then, human interactions.
Well, yeah, I can't wait to hear how it translates live and kind of takes on another life of its own or something.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I think it should be fun.
Any particular story behind the name? Because the name is so good.
That was all Felicia. Yeah. Like she was like, what do you think about this stuff? And I sent her some stuff, and she sent back some stuff, but it was like one of those things where like she sent over and I was like, oh, these are all good.
Yeah. That makes sense. Well, I love the record. So I don't know if you've seen this. I asked her if she saw it. She said a friend of hers sent it, but there was some like random person on Twitter years ago said something. There was like some tweet of Disfig and the Body need to make a record together.
Yeah. She posted that. So it's pretty good.
It's like, all right, well, there we go. Well, awesome. Well, I'm stoked about it, and hopefully, I don't know, when you guys tour, it'll be somewhere near-ish here. Nobody comes to Oklahoma. I understand why, but
me and Chip grew up in Little Rock, so.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, this is like not far from. Yeah, well, one of these days.
One of these days.
All right. Well, growing up in Little Rock, that's a good segue sort of here. Let's get into the meat of this.
All right.
And so first question, of course. So growing up in Little Rock, what's the first song you remember?
I think I was saying it was either when I was like very young, I had a tape player with a Beach Boys like compilation tape and a Doors tape, which I can't remember which Doors record.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the Doors at all. I guess when I was like a child, I liked it. I still love the Beach Boys, but it was like not my era of Beach Boys, but it was still, I listened to it all the time. So yeah.
That's fun. Yeah, one of my earliest memories are listening to records with my dad, and it was either Beach Boys records, and it was like the Surfin' USA Beach Boys records, or Dylan records were the other ones that he always had.
My dad, same way.
It's funny that you mentioned the door, like because he had a Doors record, and I remember my sister and I listening to it and listening to the end, and we were like 6 or something, and the part where it's like, I want to fuck, we were just like, oh my god. I mean, that is a wild song still, but same way. My dad listened to Paul Simon's Graceland was a big one. Which great record. And Meatloaf Better the Hell was the other one that my dad listened to, which is also a great record. So did your dad, because my dad didn't have like Pet Sounds or any of like later, I feel like it was just only thing I remember is like Surfing USA and like Barbara Ann and all those songs.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up with my mom. My dad would like have us for like a holiday every once in a while, so a lot of the time hearing stuff was like him driving, because he lived on a farm, like driving out to the farm. So it was like, I guess we're gonna listen to Bad on Hell 4 times on this trip. But my mom is like one of those people that does not really listen to music.
Oh man, yeah. Wow, that's interesting.
I mean, she listens to like normal like mom music, like Elton John, like later years Elton John and stuff, and like Billy Joel, like later Billy Joel. But it's like, I think she could like take it or leave it. I don't think she has any actual preference to it.
So she doesn't spend a lot of time listening to The Body, I guess.
No, she's every once in a while she'll like be like, okay, I guess I'll come to the show. Like when we play in Little Rock, I'm like, Mom, I do not care if you come to the show. Like I'm not going to be offended one bit. I would prefer if you didn't come.
Right? Yeah. Wow. That's great. Well, okay. So, are you a big crier?
I don't think so. When I was a kid, I really was. Yeah. I think the world has hardened me somewhat. But yeah, as a child, I would like get really emotional about things. But yeah.
I have a 10-year-old daughter, so I see that all the time. But well, what's a song that either a song that makes you cry or makes you kind of feel that feeling of wanting to cry?
I mean, I'll be honest. Like, there's definitely times when I listen to God Only Knows that I'm like, this is insane. This is insane. There's like Jason Molina stuff sometimes as well.
Oh my gosh.
Will really do it to you. There's a I don't really know like what. Yeah, it's tough to say like what will get me going nowadays.
Right.
I mean, it's also like it's contextual so much, like there's times that I'll hear a song a million times in my life, and then I'll be driving home one day or something and be like, damn, this song is hitting way different. Right.
Yeah. God, no, I've been working on like my year-end article for Foxy Digitalis, and I kind of modeled all the categories after these questions, and was listening to this record, and it was mostly like field recordings and chimes, and I've listened to it a dozen times this year, and then I don't know, last week I just kind of, it like broke me or something. I was like, what the hell's going on?
Dude, yeah. I mean, that's the great thing about music, it's like you never know when it's gonna hit. Yeah.
But I mean, I will say like Jason Molina stuff, especially now, I mean, like so much of it, like it hit hard when it came out, but then
Yeah.
Like the added gravity of him not being here anymore. It's just I think Get Out was on your it was
Yeah.
And that one is just like
I know that is like it's also like I mean contextually it's like so insane when you think about like and when you hear like whenever someone like has like a personal story of like, well, one time I hung out with him and this happened, I'm just like, Jesus Christ, man. Like this is like there's like no faking any of this stuff. This is like full on.
Right.
And it's same with Beach Boys, like if Brian Wilson wasn't such like an absolute like freak, I wouldn't like it as much as I do. But it's like Jesus Christ, this guy is 100% serious about this.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, that's well, on the other side, what's a song that'll always put you in a better mood?
Damn, I can't remember what I said for this one. I wonder if I can find my answers to the questions still.
Yeah, most people usually have to. I couldn't remember. I make notes here because I can't remember.
Yeah, that's. I know I sent them over to. Okay, yeah, I did have just. Oh yeah, Better Moon. Yeah, I put Barrington Levy, Here I Come, which is.
Oh yeah,
impossible to hear that song without being happy.
Yeah, there was in a recent episode of this, we were talking about, it wasn't about Barrington Levy, but it was about, I can't remember what it was about, but it was talking about like how there's just something so magical about like the combination of a relentless rhythm and like a sweet melody. And
yeah,
this whole album is just one after the other.
Yeah, like, yeah, anytime that song, Here I Come, comes on, it's like, yeah, it's insane. It just, it's a very simple song, but it is so catchy. It also pumps you up so much. It's insane.
I know, it's kind of like it is. It's relentless. Like it's just, it goes 100 miles an hour from the first second. And it's like, and he's just so on, and it just, oh my God.
I know. And there's like times when I'll be like, all right, what am I going to listen to? And I'll like listen to like heavier stuff or like harder stuff. And I'm like, that thing can really compete with this, which is insane.
I know. Yeah. God. He's so great. And I think that's like the opening track on the record too. And it's like, man,
I think so, yeah.
Coming out of the gate,
I know.
Firing. God.
I know. Total psycho.
I know. Yeah. It's like, where do you go from there? I mean, the whole record is like full of bangers, but geez.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I can't argue with that. I love that song. All right. Well, what is objectively the best song of all time?
I mean, I think I am not alone in saying God only knows. Like that's got to people have to pick that all the time, right?
So nobody's actually picked it yet, which is shocking. It's like, because this is one of those questions that's real easy to overthink and start. Like,
yeah,
because I mean, God only knows is, I mean, it's perfect. It's a perfect song.
Perfect song. Yeah, I'm curious, like what other people would pick. That is, yeah. There's not. I could listen to that song a million times and still be like, "This is insane that this got made."
I know that, and that's. I always think about that, like because that's a song that we've all heard like a million times because it's like ubiquitous. Yeah. It's everywhere, but it's like part of the culture of the world or whatever. But anytime I hear it, it doesn't. It's like it's still every time. It's just like fuck.
I know, and it's like such an insane. I mean, an insane song. Like everything going against him.
Right.
Literally, like no support whatsoever, and being like, "This is what I came up with." Like that is. I can't even imagine like how the headspace you had to be in to A, write that song, and B, stick by it in fucking whatever 1960 fucking 6 or whatever. Well, like.
Yeah, I mean that's the other thing too. It's like the song is. I mean, I'm doing 60 years old practically at this point.
Yeah,
and it still sounds as contemporary as it did the day. Like it's
I know, like, yeah, when you listen to like the acapella versions too,
oh god,
it's psychotic. It's like insane, like how, yeah, it's like mind-boggling how good it is.
Yeah, I don't know that anybody could argue that as being objectively best song. And as I put in the notes, it's like if some alien came to Earth and you were like, "Here's the height of Sonic," it's like, yeah, like what's anybody going to say about it other than holy shit?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Like, yeah, so good.
So good. Oh man, yeah. That was the fun thing too. Is like I go through and listen to all the stuff before so I can prepare, and it's like I think I just put this on a loop for half an hour or so because it's like I hadn't heard it in a minute, and it's like okay, I just wanted to be in this world for a minute because it's it's amazing.
Yeah, so good.
All right, on a different tack, what's a song that you used to love but now not so much?
I put Nutrimilk on sound like any song because great songs, great songwriter.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not debating that in one bit. But when In the Infinite of the Sea came out, it was relentless. People just playing it everywhere. And I got so sick of it. Like, cause I started off being like, "Oh, I love this record." I was playing it like a ton, and then I was like, because I was a big like merge freak. I loved Superchunk like a ton.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, yeah, this new band, I love them too. This is great. And then it's like with anything like that, it kind of catches on with like more normal people as it like kind of goes. And by the end of like it being like in like the zeitgeist of I was just like, oh my God, I've heard this fucking a million times. I fucking hate this record.
I always wonder too if it would have been different if he made more records. Like if I would have got less sick of it because I mean
100%, yeah.
and I don't know. I always wonder about just this. I can't even imagine you making a record because it is like I feel like objectively it's a great record, but I can't listen to it.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, like I hold him in high regard because it is insane that like at the height of it, he was just like, "No, I'm good."
I know.
Like, I'll see you guys later. That is, I have to respect that. Like,
I know.
I'm sure he got insane offers. Someone just like, nah.
I know. I always think about. I was talking about this in another episode. We're talking about Lauryn Hill and how Lauryn Hill made one, and she's still making a living off of that record. Just like he's still making, and you wonder too. I always like when it's like, do they have like 1 million songs sitting on tapes? Like,
I'm sure they do, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a ton. Because, I mean, they all recorded all themselves. Like, it's gotta be. It's probably like But I also wonder if, like, Merge wouldn't have, like, mined everything they could by this point.
Right.
Because it's like, why not,
Yeah.
But who knows? He could just be, like, very selective about it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that is...
I don't know that we'll ever know the story, but I really wonder what the story is.
I know. I watched the like Elephant Six documentary a couple weeks ago, and he's not in it at all. Like,
yeah,
everyone gets interviewed. He's just like, nah, good, which is also crazy.
I know.
Like, I respect.
I know. It's pretty awesome. Well, no, I think that's a really interesting. I like that answer because I think it's a really interesting thing to think about. And like, it's like I objectively like this, but I have no desire to listen to it.
Yeah.
Well, kind of on a 45-degree angle from that, what's a song that most people, some group of people hate, but you absolutely love it?
I have, there's a lot of Florida and Georgia Line songs that I really love. I think This Is How We Roll. Just because, I mean, me and Chip are the same way, where you tour so much and like listen to like so much like heavy bands, and like for a while it was like a lot of like noise bands because people were like, oh, these guys like lived in Providence, we're gonna like book them like noise band. And no offense, but like Providence was like the pinnacle, like Providence and Michigan, like pinnacle of like noise stuff. A lot of other people kind of subpar, as so like we saw a lot of stuff that we were like, oh my God, this is like fucking horrific. So we would get in the van and just only listen to pop music. Like, only listen to pop music. And it's still like that. But yeah, Florida Georgia Line is like the perfect distillation of just like only like, it's like computer made to like be catchy. Like it's like the most like vapid music, but it rocks for that reason.
Yeah, I was talking about what was I talking about? It was like, God, what the hell is the band? Mumford and Sons. I was talking about this with somebody. How it's like the, like in fast food, how they chemically alter it to make you addicted to it. Like this kind of stuff is like the fast food of music, and it works. Yeah. Like it works. Yeah. Like it's science.
Yeah. I've also, I don't know if this is true, but someone said that they broke up because one guy was like a big Trump guy. The other guy was like, nah.
Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be interesting.
Which, if that's true, that's even more insane. Like, I know. Yeah, we broke up. Politically, we weren't the same.
Yeah. And, and our band is called Florida Georgia Line, which just adds another layer to that. Yeah. Yeah, this is, I don't know. I think it's also like, it feels very, it was, made in like a corporate boardroom or something, but it also is like there's also something really weird about it to me, because it's like there's this vague like hip hop thing like trying to go on with the country.
So like, weird.
It's so strange.
Yeah, it's so weird to like try to find the parallel between like new country and hip hop.
Right.
It's like only like some crazy like boomer could try to think of this. Like no normal person would be like, I bet this would be cool.
Right. And I think that's I know I've heard the song. I don't remember. It's not one I seek out, but I know the feeling of like being. I mean, even I run this website that mostly is write about experimental music and stuff, but I'm in the car and stuff. I mean, I have a 10-year-old, so if I'm in the car with her, we're listening to Taylor Swift. But like, I don't want to listen to that all the time. Like not, and there's a lot of awesome noise band stuff, but like the Michigan, it's like they're not all wolf eyes.
Yeah, and then you get to like middle of nowhere, like Indiana, and you're like, oh, you're like. You have a distortion pedal and you're screaming at me. I'm cool. I'm good. I don't need to see this.
I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I know this very, very well. Hitting a little close to home. Okay. Well, what is the most romantic song? I think I saw on Instagram. Didn't you got engaged recently? Did I make that up?
I did get engaged recently. I was last year around this time.
Okay.
I picked. I mean, this is also tough because I love a love song.
Yeah.
I picked "In Your Eyes," Peter Gabriel, which is a classic.
Yeah, I mean, it's like sort of an all-timer.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, but also lyrically, if you even take the music away, lyrically, it is so sick.
Mm-hmm.
Like because it. Like the 1,000 churches line, it's like that's an insane lyric.
It's such an
that's insane. And it puts you like in a place that is like very specific, which is very hard to do in a pop song and then also a love song, to make it like kind of specific but also very universal. So that was my pick because I think it's like I can't imagine. Like sometimes me and my girlfriend, we drive and like a song will come on. This is like a perfect example. I'll be like, imagine if someone wrote this. It was like, hey, I wrote you a song. Right. It's just like if this is the song, someone's like, hey, you know what? I was inspired. I wrote you this song. That's insane to think about.
I know. Like, what? God. And then imagine, then it doesn't work out. Like down there, it's like, God damn, you wrote this. And now
I know. Yeah.
So nobody has picked this song before.
Really?
And that again blows my mind. I figured like at some point this like a song like this or God Only Knows would be song have to tell people like, okay, you can't pick this because everybody keeps picking it, but they haven't come up.
Yeah. Wow. What gets picked the most? Is there one that's like more than one person's pick?
I don't think I have a terrible memory. I like
Yeah.
certain bands and like artists have come up a lot. Like Talk Talk comes up a lot, and Joanna Newsom
Yeah.
keeps coming up.
Interesting.
And Beach Boys have come up, but never God only knows. And I think I want to say Peter Gabriel maybe came up. I don't know. But yeah, not the. It shocks me because like this is to me is like what it's like one of the all-time great romantic songs. I mean, it's like it's just a great song. Like it's such a good song.
Yeah.
But yeah, the lyrics are I don't know, man. Peter Gabriel rules. So
yeah, I mean, he also is like he rocks. Like same thing. It's like the creator to be like, oh, I'm gonna make this weird music in Genesis. And then I'm gonna make even weirder solo music. But then I'm gonna make So, which is like an insane record. Like probably one of the best records ever made. Like sonically, musically, like everything about it is like perfect. And yeah, it's like it's crazy to be like, yeah, check out this pop song.
Yeah. I love that. So when you guys get married, you should play it at your wedding. If you have a wedding. I didn't have a wedding. We eloped, went to the courthouse, but
I'm now realizing that's probably not a bad idea.
Yeah, ours was like, and we mainly did it because we were getting married so my wife could get onto my health insurance, and so we didn't really tell anybody. And then I remember telling my parents that I was like, oh, we went and got married like 6 months ago. They're like, oh, we figured you'd probably do something like that. I thought they were going to kill me, but they were just like, oh, yeah, no biggie.
Yeah, that's cool.
And hey, it's been 20 years now, so apparently it worked out. Yeah. Okay, but enough about me. What's a song that changed your perspective on an artist for better or for worse?
I picked Eon by Neurosis because first time because I was used to earlier Neurosis, which is, it's great. But, when Through Silver Blood came out and I like really listened to it, I was like, this is insane. Like, this is crazy that like, basically punks made this.
Right.
I guess like that is like what was so like intriguing to me is like, these are like normal punks that like, but this is like a new musical. I mean, I don't think anyone's like, I mean, maybe synth people have tried, but like before that, like no one had like done as much with like, and to like have so many, I mean, that's the thing that was like insane to me is like there were so many elements and like, it was cool to see a band that was like, in the like punk world, make something that was like, oh, we're gonna have like bagpipes, we're gonna have crazy samples, we're gonna have like all these different things, like we're gonna multi-track all these drums. So that like blew my mind because I was used to just like either like big bands that like had the budget for that, or like punk bands that just like we go in, the four of us record, it takes us 2 hours, then we're done.
Right.
So like to see it be like, oh, we're gonna go like use everything, like go way far out. Like, that really changed a lot for me.
I always wonder. It's like I always wonder what inspires that to. I mean, that switch.
I don't know. Like what? I mean, I'm sure it's got to be like. I'm sure there's like different influences, of course, but I wonder if it's like just as simple as being like, I listen to Skinny Puppy and I like this, so therefore I'm gonna like take this one aspect and try to like, who knows?
Yeah, there's so much going on here. I always wonder too. It's like, God, how do you keep track of all of it? Like, it's insane. And I'm a total sucker for like one of the things I really love about this song is how it has this intro that does one thing and then the whole thing shifts into something else. Yeah, I'm a sucker for a song like that.
It like comes out of nowhere and is like so sick.
Yeah, and especially when it's like in the first part, you're like, "Oh, this is cool." Whoa, then it's just gone, and then you're like, "Oh shit, what?" and to be able to tie those two things together in a way that somehow makes sense, like I don't know, it seems impossible to me. It's
Yeah, and like to see, because we did a tour with them years ago,
Mhm.
and to see Noah like set up the sampler and stuff, because he like uses the same shit he used to like the early 90s.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
Yeah, so we'd be like, what the fuck? And he'd be like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I think he just like used to it, but also like, I don't know how to like get it from this to like anything else, you know?
Oh
Like, I
my-
think that's probably like a huge process. So he's like got like fucking disc and stuff out. I'm just like, this is insane that you're
Oh
like
my-
operating like this.
God, yeah. Wow. I mean, I kind of get, I like with my own music and stuff, it's like, I know how to do things the way I know how to do it. I feel like there are probably better and easier ways to do things, but I don't know how to do it. And this is how I know how to do it.
Yeah.
And I've had people that are like, oh, well, you should use this. I'm like, I don't know what that means. So
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
And I think I'm too old now to try to, it's like, I know how to do what I want to do at this point. I'm just going to stick with it.
I know there's definitely like, especially like musical gear now, is I'll see people be like, oh, this is the best thing. And then people be like, oh, if you're used to like a drum machine, you cannot use this. This is like, but then I'll have friends that are like not musical at all. They're like, oh, this is the first thing I bought. And they're like, it's easy. And I'm like, oh, it's because you don't have like, you're learning this thing. You're not learning from like a different, like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I grew up making music first on tape decks, but then on 4-tracks. And then, you know, like I see people doing stuff with different like DAWs and stuff. I'm just like, I use mine like a 4-track.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I don't know how to like, I don't think about it the same way. Like, yeah.
And I've tried, and I've even tried, and it's just like, my brain was just, no, we're not going to do this. You just do your own thing, do your thing. And you're fine.
100%.
But yeah, like, so even though like in the context of the song, like to take like, all right, we do this one thing. Now we're going to do this whole other fucking like, that's killer. I love it.
Yeah, it's so good.
I love that they're still doing it the same way, like 30 years later. That's incredible.
I know. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. All right. Would you like consider yourself like a lyrics guy? Like a lot of people I have on here, like, oh, I don't really pay attention to lyrics. Do you?
Oh, I definitely do.
Okay. So with that, what are your favorite lyrics? Whether it's like a whole song, one line. I mean, we've talked about some great lyrics already, but
yeah. Well, I think probably the most bold lyric you could ever make in a song, which was from Cop Killer, Body Count. I know your family's grieving. Fuck them. So brazen that it's like you're not. It's like it's almost comical how brutal it is.
It is, yeah.
It is, so good.
Oh, it fucking rules, man. And this song like doesn't exist anywhere. I mean, it's all you can find it on YouTube because you can find everything on YouTube. But I think, but it is. I mean,
did they take it off everything? Like, is it
I went and I was looking on like on a streaming service, and you know, it's got the whole album, but it just doesn't have this song. It has everything else, but doesn't have Cop Killer. And
that is,
you know, and there's part of me I'm like, in 2023, like, would people freak out as much about it as they did in like what 92 or whatever it was? I don't know. Probably because it is so.
I mean, it is so over the top, but it is really. It's a great song. I mean, it's a great song to start with. But line is
and just Ice-T in a punk band is like, count me like playing a punk song about. It's like, yeah. It is. Didn't you guys cover this?
Yeah, we did. We covered on a 7-inch. We covered this and Dead Cops by MDC.
Hell yeah!
And cop killing theme.
I'm guessing it probably went over easier with your fan base than it did in the wider world of 1992. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, no one seemed to complain to us. But I do remember when it came out, and I was, I mean, it's the worst thing you can do for a song like that. It just like puts so much attention on it.
Yeah.
And I remember how angry people were.
Oh my God. People
And I remember
freaked out.
Yeah, people were like losing it. And I was like, crazy as a song. And I was like, oh, it's a pretty crazy song. But then I didn't like even put it together. Years later, I was like, I think Chip was like, that is the craziest line. And I was like, that is so insane to like come up with that. Like, I killed you and your family said, I don't care.
That is, yeah, that's like as hardcore as you could get.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I love that that's your pick for lyrics. That's favorite lyrics, most hardcore lyrics. It all fits.
Yeah, which is, yeah, I'm sure there's probably better lyrics out there, but in context, who could make something that that effective?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And like you said, though, I mean, because I don't even know that I don't know. I don't remember what year this was. I feel like it was like 92, 93, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
and,
I think, yeah.
Like, I wasn't paying, I guess that was, Nirvana was like 91. Was never mind. So like, I was like really, like, that's what I was really into. I was like really into, I went down that whole like rabbit hole. And so I wasn't really paying attention to what Ice-T was like. But it's all the controversy around. I was like, I got to hear this fucking,
yeah, exactly.
Like, so good job.
Yeah,
everybody.
I think I went to the second Lollapalooza and I think that Soundgarden covered it. Maybe with Ice-T.
That's fuck yeah.
I think that is true. But I mean, again, that was, second Lollapalooza was probably again 1992. So my memory could be wrong.
Well, hey, as far as I'm concerned, it is the truth because I love that idea. So yes, Lee, what cover song's better than the original?
This is a good one because there is a lot to choose from. Mm-hmm. I'm sure everyone chooses Hallelujah, right?
No, cool. That's actually another one that's never come up, and like All on the Watchtower's never come up either. So
that is insane to me. Well, I picked the Willie Nelson version of Unchained Melody, and I picked it by a small margin. I mean, it's also debatable about which version I think is actually better. But yeah, that is the Willie Nelson version is got a sadness that cannot be matched by the original.
I actually had no idea that this existed. I had never heard Willie's cover of this, and it fucking killed me.
Yeah.
Oh my, like, because I mean, yeah, like the Righteous Brothers version is fantastic.
It's a perfect song.
Yeah, but I don't know. To me, it always felt like kind of larger than life, and like this, it's just it's like he's sitting alone in a dark room, like just Oh God,
it is very, very good.
Yeah, I mean, I love Willie. He's one of those people. It's like I'll listen to him sing anything. But he like this mode is the best like Willie mode.
100%. Yeah, it's got the strings, got everything, but it's like, I mean, it's a good point. Like, the Righteous Brother one, it's like, you can't write another song after that, kind of.
Yeah, I was really stoked that you picked this because, like I said, I totally was unaware that this existed, and I remember when I first I listened to it once, and I told my wife, I was like, "Oh my God, you got to listen to this."
It's great. It's very great.
So on a completely different tangent here, because this is like the opposite of this. What is the best hype song? Because it sure ain't Willie Nelson singing Unchained Melody.
I picked Hip Hop by Dead Prez,
which is
another song that, like, much like Barry and Levy, is you can't deny it. It's so when it comes on, you cannot deny it.
This is another one that shocks me that it's like 25 years old.
I know that is like, yeah. I know. I saw like Felicia's answers to a lot of these questions, and I was like, "Oh wow, I'm like really old." I'm like really old.
I feel that way often doing these. I think I'm generally older than people I'm talking to. So,
yeah,
I think
like,
we're closer in age.
I was like, man, she's picked some crazy songs that I have like never heard.
Right? Yeah, there was like bands I was like, I don't even know who this is.
Yeah, and like, but bands that I was like, oh, I've heard that name, but I have never heard what they sound like.
Yeah, but hip hop, oh my god, it's like one of the all time bangers. And yeah, it's one of those ones. As soon as you hear that like that bass line and that beat, you are just like, let's fucking go.
Yeah, it's you cannot. Yeah, it's so good. I mean, you know, Chappelle Show. There's a reason he used it as the intro music,
right? Yeah, okay. I was wondering, like this. I was with this one. I was like, I think someone can make a case this is like the greatest song of all time. When I was listening to this, I was like, this is so good. But
yeah, it's also, again, like, yeah, perfect song. Like lyrically, musically, it is so good.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're coming down the home stretch here. We got the 2 quote unquote big questions left. So first, what is the song that means the most to you? And it's not necessarily the song itself, but like you associate it with something or someone or an experience. And so, yeah.
I picked the Grateful Dead version of Not Fade Away. That has like a personal meaning to me and my girlfriend. We both, we went to a lot of Dead Company shows together. She is like many people, more recent convert to the Dead. Because I think, you know, like a lot of people think like, oh, this is like what this music is. And I was like, no, listen to. And so that is, I think, also like when you see like videos of them playing it, because the whole crowd like sings along and stuff, and they'll cut out and the crowd's still singing. And that is like that moment, there's seeing like the crowd participation for that. It's like,
yeah,
can be beat. It's also like the Fela Ginger Baker record. There's a part where like they cut out and the crowd is singing with them, and it's like so good. It's like better than any like thing someone could like, write on their own. You know, just like so like that song has that, and also I think it's a great song. I mean, you know, Buddy Holly wrote the original or whatever, so
right,
it's a great song.
Is there like a particular version that is your favorite version?
I don't know if there is. Like it's, because again, I think the thing I love about it is when they stop and the crowd is singing.
Yeah.
So anytime, like, because there's times that it goes on for so long. And also, I mean, being at Dead Company shows and it happens, and it's like, it's crazy to be like in a communal thing that is feeling the same thing. So yeah, I think that song captures it so well that even like if you're not a fan of the Dead or that music at all, that is like an undeniable feeling of like the communal aspect of music that I think is the best part about it.
Yeah. Have you been into the Dead for a long time?
Yeah. I've definitely, been a bit, I was like an American Beauty guy, like, you know, which is like, I think most people can like agree that's a good record. Even if you're not like into it, but yeah, like I've been full force for quite a while now.
Yeah. I'm like one of these late converts too. Cause when I was a teenager, like I was really into punk, like had a mohawk.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
And so I was like, fuck I hated the Grateful Dead just because it was like my parents' hippie shit was what I thought. And so that I just didn't think about it for a long, even if once I'd left, you know, was not really I was into punk. And then I don't know. I mean, I guess it's maybe in the last 10 years or something, but people were just like, dude, I know what you listen to. You will love it. Like what?
I know. Yeah.
And then you do, and you're like, oh yeah, okay.
I know. It's it's like one of the, I mean, the same thing with like reggae. A lot of people be like, I hate reggae. And I'm like, what? Have you heard this?
Right.
And they're like, oh, I didn't know it was like this. And it's like, yeah, there's like, it's the same thing. Like there's like, and also with the Dead, there's so much of it is like contextual that it's like, yeah, but if you know like the stories about what's happening, it's like pretty crazy that it's like got made in the first place and like continued to continue the way it did.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I do, and I totally with you. Like when the crowd sing it, like that just gets me every time. It's so so good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, last question. Lee Buford, what is your favorite song? At least as of right now, what is your favorite song in this moment?
Right now, I picked the Grants by Lana Del Rey off her new record. Because I haven't heard a song I think recently. I mean, there's definitely like good music that's being made. But I think like I haven't heard a song that like really hit me that hard. It's like when that record, because that record came out when me and Chip were like driving around the East Coast and stuff. And so we would listen to it like on these long drives, and I was like, oh my God, this is so good. Like this is like, I mean, I'm a big Lana fan, but this is like, I feel like she's entered like a weird like Joni Mitchell phase. That I'm like, oh, these are like, she's going for like longevity style. Like this is, you could sing this song in 60 years and it'd be the same. Like this is so good. Yeah. So I appreciate that aspect. And yeah, I mean, I think the whole record is like so good. Probably my favorite record that came out this year. But yeah, that song is like so brutal, but also like really beautiful.
Like, one of the things I love about it is like musically, at least like parts of it, there's sort of a lightness to it, but the words are so fucking heavy.
I know.
I'm a sucker for that. Like, you know what? There's the Tom Waits quote of like, you know, tell me a horrible story with a pretty face or whatever it is. Like,
yeah, exactly. And then like, the crescendo, like at the end, and it's like, oh my God, it's so good.
Yeah. And this is another one of those songs where, you know, like starts out one way and then changes and both parts are, I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's
both parts are very good. Yeah. I mean, I think that record, like, there's some like definite stuff on it I don't really enjoy as much, but there's a lot of songs on that record that are, I feel like a more universal feeling than her earlier stuff. Even though I do love her earlier stuff too, but yeah, I feel like it's like entered like into like the songwriter canon of like this could be covered a million times by people.
Right.
But yeah.
That's awesome. No, that's a really good pick. Well, you had a song on your list that we didn't even talk about, and it was the one I wanted to talk about.
Oh, which one?
Silver Springs.
Oh yeah,
the 1977 or 1997 live version of Silver Springs,
which is the best live.
Yeah. Here, new question. What's the best live song?
Yeah. 100%. I have,
Oh my God.
I'm a huge Fleetwood Mac fan.
Yeah. Well, and there was like a whole meme going around. I don't know, or some weird thing. I don't know. There was like in the last month where there was like, I don't know if it was an article or what it was, but it was something about like the Roman Empire thing. Men think about the Roman Empire 3 times a day. I'm like, no, this is my fucking Roman Empire, because I think about this performance. Like everybody I know is sick of me. And like, no, you don't understand. And it's,
I know. Like, have you seen, someone posted the like uncut video?
Yes.
When the song is like ending. Yeah. And they're like really right next to each other. Oh my God.
I mean, it is, and just like, it feels like the ultimate fucking power move from Stevie. Just stare like, and then, oh my God. And there's the part when like the first sort of chorus happens where again, I've watched this video way too many times, but like,
yeah,
Lindsay's kind of like not
looking around,
and then she gives him this like quick glance, and then you realize like, oh shit, what's oh my god,
and she just like staring at him, and he finally like looks over. Oh man, it is. Yeah, it's
the best.
It's the best. I showed it to. I have like an old emo band that got back together, and we were in Boston playing a show this summer. And I was like, "Oh, you guys have never seen this?" So we put it on, and they were like, "Holy shit, this is insane!"
Yeah, I showed it to my daughter last night because last week for school she had to write some article about anything she wanted. So she wrote an article about this Taylor Swift song and about like all the lore behind it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, she's ready. She's ready for, and she was like, she kind of was looking at me like, calm down. First of all, you're getting way too excited about this. But I think she was into it. I mean, she's like, no, I only listen to Taylor Swift. Like, thank you for showing me this. And then I found a video. I was like, well, here's Stevie Nicks and Taylor Swift performing together. And so then suddenly she was like, oh, well, that lady seems cool now. Okay.
Yeah.
But
I mean, yeah, that is. Have you heard did you read the book about them making rumors that
I haven't read that book. Yeah. I own it. It's on my shelf with like a million other things. I need to.
It's really good. It's got a lot of good anecdotes in it, but one of them is like, because the original song was like 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
And they said that they were cutting it. And they're like, we can't make a song this long, Stevie. And they're like cutting it. And they said that she was just in the corner bawling as they were like chopping it down.
I saw an interview with her recently where she's talking about it, and she was saying, she's like, basically, you're asking me to cut out parts of my life. And it's like, fuck.
I know. It's like,
I live for the Fleetwood Mac. Like, it's the trauma. It's so good.
I got Lindsay's name tattooed on one of my fingers. I got Stevie's name tattooed on one of my fingers.
Oh, that's amazing.
I got a Stevie portrait on the back of my leg with the Silver Spring lyrics.
Shit, that's awesome. Yeah, I was on a recent episode. I had a friend of mine who she's actually a pastry chef in New York, but we were talking about Fleetwood Mac, and she was saying how she's like, I feel like you can really, they're like this sort of like pick your fighter band, and where you can really learn about people depending on like who's your person. Like,
yeah.
Like, I mean, I love fucking Fleetwood Mac. I would listen to Stevie sing the phone book. There's got one of my favorite videos is her. It's like from, I don't know if it's 70s or 80s, but she's getting her hair done, and she starts singing Wild Heart. Yeah. And it's
so good.
And it's so much better than the version it's like, God, this is the version. Like, did you not make this version? But like, I love like the unhinged Lindsey Buckingham thing is like, just, I love Lindsey so much.
Yeah. I saw them, I think maybe the last tour they did all together. And I was surprised how good it was. And I could tell that Lindsey was like doing weirder stuff. Like you could tell he was like, okay, if we're playing these songs, I'm going to play them kind of weird. And so it was like it was really interesting. I was like, oh, this rocks. That it's not just them like cover band style, just playing the songs.
Man.
And so like they did Big Love, and it was like really like heavy, which is I feel like it's kind of a heavy song already, but like they extended the ending, and I was like, man, this fucking rocks. Like they were like coming out swinging.
That is awesome.
And I think that was like probably the reason they didn't want him to be in the band. You know, because he was like pushing it in a way that I think like normal people would probably be like, this isn't what I'm used to listening to. But it was fucking really good. Like I was surprised how good it was.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, I think that was like 2015 or something. Yeah.
Man, yeah. Well, I had to bring it. Like I said, I could probably do a whole show just talking about this song and this performance because
it's just so good. That's like part of the reason why we're on Thrill Jockey is because we played some show, and Bettina, who owns Thrill Jockey, is a huge Fleetwood Mac fan too. And I think I was wearing like a Fleetwood Mac shirt. She was like, "Oh, this rocks! Look at the metal guy that likes Fleetwood Mac." And so she like wrote us, and I was just like, "Oh yeah." And then we were just like nerding out about Fleetwood Mac for like hours, and like even now, like when anything like comes up or something, she'll like always send it to me, be like, "Oh, there's a new record coming out, a new version of something's coming out."
Oh, that's awesome! Oh my god!
Yeah, that's like our main thing is Fleetwood Mac.
There you go. Fleetwood Mac is part of the body lore, so
100%. Yeah,
can't get any better than that. Well, if there's not a better place to end this, this is like the perfect ending to a fantastic conversation. Thank you so much for doing this. So the record is out on February. God, it's like 20th, 23rd. God, I think
20th or something.
Somewhere around there. This episode, like it'll come out the Tuesday before it comes out. That's what I know. I've talked to the label about. So anybody who's listening, buy the record. It fucking rips. And hopefully, you guys, there'll be tour news at some point and all of that.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
Yeah, man. Thanks. And thanks for making this work. And this is awesome. Fuck yeah. I'm going to go like watch that video now of Silver Spring.
I know. I probably will listen to some of these songs right now.
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right. You too. Thanks so much.
See ya.
Bye.
Once again, thank you to Lee. Thank you to Felicia. Thank you to Thrill Jockey. Thank you for making this whole thing happen these last 2 episodes. I hope you all liked it as much as I did. And again, buy the record. You can, of course, find all of Lee's picks in the link in the show notes. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, the whole drill, all over the place. I don't know. Shoot me an email. You can also sign up for the Patreon, patreon.com/Foxy Digitalis. If you like these episodes, you get a little bit more with each one, and you get them a week early and some other stuff. And, for as little as $3 a month, helps support the cause, helps supports the site, helps supports the show. I feel like I just said support's really weird. I don't know. Saying that much times in a row was, I don't know. And hey, if that's, and if that's not your thing, that's cool. Take that $3 or $5, whatever, and put it towards buying a copy of the Disfig and the Body album, because it'll melt your face. And who doesn't want to get their face melted? I mean, I don't, but sometimes I do. Okay. Anyway, thanks y'all for listening. And until next time, keep on listening to whatever the hell you want.